Hi, this is Rick Bice with Bice Fit Exercises on behalf of Edmonds Park and Recreation. Today we're going to go through a circuit training class. What we'll do is we'll alternate between strength training exercises for the muscles, bones, and connective tissues, and then cardiovascular exercise for the heart, lungs, and circulatory system. What we'll do, it's all timed, so what we'll do is we'll do a minute on an exercise. We'll take a 30-second break. We'll do another minute on the same exercise or something very similar, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. So I'll call all those out as they happen. What you'll need for this exercise program today is a chair over here, maybe some light to medium dumbbells, and some resistance tubing or band. Maybe light or medium, whatever you have on that. With or without handles, doesn't matter on that. We will begin with a warm-up. We will go through the exercises, then we'll finish off with a cool down and then some stretches at the end. This is all at your own pace, so we strive for a minute's worth of work. If you need to take your breaks, quicker than that, or if by the end of the minute you're not tired or fatigued, you could just go straight through that break that we have. So it's all up to you, the kind of resistance you use, whatever works for your body. Make sure your surrounding area is clear, that you've got room to move around, arm's width sort of stuff at least. You have a proper footwear for the floor that you have. If you've got slippery hardwoods, make sure that you're wearing good shoes that aren't going to slip and slide. If you've got thick carpet, making sure that your feet aren't going to get, isn't going to get caught on the carpet or something and trip you up. So just being careful. All right, let's begin. Okay, let's get started with our warm-up here. So nice and easy. Let's do a little side to side step here, a little tap, and let's reach out across the body. Just getting the body warmed up, the blood pumping, getting the synovial fluid in the joints, greasing up the joints, bringing some heat and warmth, oxygen, blood flow to all the muscles and joints and connective tissues. I'm just kind of reaching around. We'll go for about another minute and 20 seconds. Just enough to barely start breaking a sweat at the end. Just get the body ready for activity. All right, switch to a little bit of a knee bend, some bicep curls. Whatever motions and movements you need to do to get your body warmed up, whatever pace. But again, this is not a cardio. We're not looking to raise the breathing and heart rate a lot, just enough to get the body warmed up. Always remember breathing. Good posture. We got about 30 seconds. All right, so tapping across. Let's go straight up in the air with the hands. And open those elbows out a little bit. So now palms are forward. There you go, looking good. Keep it up. 5 more seconds. All right. And of course, at any time, you could always pause the video and warm up longer if you need to. All right. So first one we got is a goblet squat. So you'll need a dumbbell or kettlebell or, bag of sugar or something. Whatever you have that you can hold close to your chest with both hands. That can give you a little bit extra weight and resistance for your body. All right. So goblet squat. If you're holding a dumbbell like this, kind of on one of the bells, you're going to go close to the chest, not holding it away from the body, close to the chest, hands together, nice and wide with the feet, okay, hip to shoulder width apart, maybe even wider than a regular squat. And then we're just going to take a seat, low as you can go comfortably, and back up. All right, toes are going to flare out slightly, and you're going to take a seat, sticking your rump out. Think about if you had a tail and somebody was pulling it. All right, your weight's on your heels and on the arches of your feet. How low you go is up to you. The lower you go, the harder it's going to be to get back up. Keep it comfortable. We got about 28 seconds. Head and chest are going to face forward. Head is going to be neutral. Remember to breathe. Remember to breathe. And as you stand up, thrust those hips forward. Low back stays straight. All right, take a break there. Nice job there. So again, how low you go is up to you. Really making sure that as you do that, the knee stays above the shoelace area, that you're not going like this, okay? Not like this, but like this. Really sticking your rump out as if you're going to sit down on a chair, okay? We got about 10 more seconds. Let the burning subside from the thigh muscles. Here we're working the major thigh muscles in the front, quadriceps, gluteus maximus, major large muscle in the rump. Those are the kind of the major movers there. Let's get in here, try it again. And then we're getting muscles in the low back and spine, abdominals, chest, shoulders, arms, having to do just a little bit of work to hold this or whatever you're holding. Muscles along the back of the thigh, sides of the hips, everything having to stabilize. Keep it comfortable. No pain. Go as low as you feel comfortable. There you go. Looking straight ahead. All right. Nice job. Okay. So getting rid of the dumbbell and grab your resistance tubing or your band, whatever you're using. All right, I've got some resistance tubing I'm using. I'm going to do chest press with protraction. Okay, so this is going to go around the back and up about the height of your armpits. Okay, chest height just below the armpits. I'm not going to use the handles on this one. They're little long. If I try to use the handles, I want to get some resistance. So if I grab back a little further away, I'm going to get more resistance. Okay. If I grab closer to the handles, I'm going to get less resistance. So play around and find the kind of resistance that works for you. So again, good posture, up nice and tall, and we're going to push straight out. Bracing the core, bracing the abdominals. Those hands are going away from the body, right at about chest, shoulder height. If you need to adjust as you, if that band moves at all. So what we'll do is we're going to add a little protraction of the shoulder blades. So now as we go out as far as we can, now I'm going to add an extra little stretch, a little pop. So as far as I can, and then a little stretch. And then I can come back. Everything comes back, out, a little pop, everything comes back. And try as best you can to relax the shoulders. All right, take a break there. Trying to relax the shoulders, not hunch up if you can. Again, bracing those abdominals. Whatever stance gives you good support and stability. Here we're working chest muscles. We're working front part of the shoulder and the deltoid. We're working the backs of the upper arms, the triceps. And then we're getting some serratus anterior when we protract, when we push out and let those shoulder blades come apart as we stretch out. All right. Okay, so in position again. Let's try another minute. That extra little stretch, and then everything back. Push out, extra little stretch, and back. Remember how, where you put your hands will determine how tough this is, how much resistance you'll get. And of course, your band, if you've got tougher rubber bands, stiffer, thicker, use those if you want more resistance. Or adjust where your hands are grabbing those rubber bands here. Excellent. About 10 seconds. And as always, breathing. All right, well done. Nice job there. Okay, so we got a bent over row that we're gonna use. So keep your resistance tubing or band, whatever you're doing. Okay, and I'm gonna drop one on the ground. Come back a little further. Let's see what I'm doing. So what I'll do is I'm gonna step on the band, opposite leg, opposite hand. Okay. Now what I want to do is I'm going to hinge forward slightly, stagger my stance, and I want a little bit of resistance to start with. So I'm going to get a little bit of pull. Once I get a little bit of pull, then I'm going to work on doing a little bit of rowing across the body here. Okay. That foot is out in front of me, kind of a lunge step, bringing that elbow back. Hand is going to end up right at kind of the mid part of the ribs. Think about bringing your elbow back and squeezing that shoulder blade towards the center of your spine. How far you lean over is up to you. The more you can lean forward, the better this will be. You'll be a little more in line with the anchor point here. So low back is having to do some work. Most of my weight is on this front leg. Back leg is taking some weight to support. Palm is facing in towards me. And then head and chest are just, following the same direction, kind of facing down and forward. If I want, I can bring that elbow out away from the body slightly and turn that palm more back instead of in. All right, take a break there. What I'll do is I'll switch arms here. You can switch at any time, or you can, shoot for a minute and then switch arms. Up to you. Where I stand, of course, will determine the resistance. If I stand back here, it's all the way up here before I'm getting a little resistance. So these handles, quite long with the handles. If you don't have handles, you're going to step out probably further away. But this handle takes up another 6-7 inches. So I've got to step closer. A little bit of, when I'm bent over, I want to get a little bit of resistance to start with. There we go. That'll work. All right. Here we are. Again, enough weight on that band that it's not going to pop out from under your foot and, swing up at you. So keep some good weight on that band. You can add a little bit of torso rotation if you want to. But again, try to keep bent forward, hinged forward from the hips. That low back is straight, not rounded out. You're just hinging from the hips. Elbow goes back. Squeeze that shoulder blade towards your spine. Working the postural muscles, upper back. We're working the back of the shoulder, rear deltoid. We're getting some bicep in the front of the upper arm. Kind of the opposite of the chest press that we just did. All right, nice job. Well done there. Okay, let's get rid of the band. We've got a cardiovascular here up next. So we're just going to spike our cardio for, about 2.5 minutes or so. We got a transition of about 30 seconds. So great time to grab some water or make sure your space is clear, that you've got a good full arms width all around you, at least of space for movement, if not more. Or you can, you can just get going right away if you want a little bit longer cardio. We got about 13 seconds officially, but I'll start up a little earlier here. Remember to have water on standby, water bottle, glass of water, whatever you have. So the cardio, very similar to our warm-up. We got about 2 minutes and 22 seconds here, except a little more intense, a little faster, a little bit longer period. We want to actively get your heart rate up and your breathing up. We want your muscles having to work a little bit more, doing some endurance. Heart rate wise and intensity, think about if you can talk like I'm talking without being too out of breath that you can't, then you're okay. That's about where you want to be for your intensity, how hard you're working. If you're so out of breath that you can't talk like I'm talking now, then you probably just need to slow up a little bit, little easier on the movements, a little slower. Now on the opposite side, if you can sing, if you can go out and sing nice and loud right now pretty easily, then you probably need to work a little harder. You really shouldn't be able to sing, but you should be able to talk. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of bicep curl again like we did in warm-up. You can follow along with what I'm doing or anything else. If you've got dance moves you want to do, or maybe you've done aerobics classes before, or maybe you've got a rowing machine or a bicycle or elliptical machine right in the same room, jump on that for 2.5 minutes. Walking up and down stairs, jump rope. All right, back to some easy marching. Low impact, if you're having impact issues with stomping around, or maybe you've got people under you that don't want to hear you stomping, you could always do this sort of stuff. Just lifting up the heels as opposed to the toes. A little lighter on the impact. Otherwise, just a good march. How high is up to you? Let's go a wide march. Keep moving, always moving consistently and narrow. That's what we're looking for, is just consistent movement. We're spiking this heart rate up. We'll hit another couple strength exercises. It may die down, the heart rate, and then we spike it back up. And narrow. A couple more seconds. Let's finish off wide. All right, well done. Okay, so we need your chair next. So grab a chair, something sturdy, of course, that's not going to tilt or tip on you. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a seat on the front half of the chair, okay? Meaning that when I lean back, or I want some room to be able to lean back to engage my abdominal muscles. If I'm sitting too far back, the back of the chair is going to stop me, okay? So sitting more on that front half of the chair, on the forward part, so that I can lean back. Now what we'll do here is we're going to do a march. So lean back, let the abdominals do some work, and then we'll add a little bit of marching. So we got abdominals and hip flexors. And then what we'll do is we'll add arms, okay? This is the seated dead bug. Think about if, a bug laying on its back with its legs up in the air moving. Not really quite dead, but that's kind of the motion we're looking for. This can be done laying on your back. If you want more work, that's going to be harder to do as opposed to just seated. If you get tired, you can sit upright or just keep moving the dead bug while it's seated upright, and then lean back as you feel comfortable. It's all up to you. You're going to feel this in those hip flexors and the fronts of the hips. Getting a lot of work trying to march while you're seated. If that gets tiring, take a break on the marches or the shoulders, whatever works for you. Or try to put it all together. A couple more seconds here. Keep breathing. All right, nice job. Okay, so a little abdominal work here. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a sword draw. So this one, we're going to sit more upright rather than lean back. You can lean back a little bit to engage the abdominals, but try not to lean back too much on this one. So what we'll do, if you want, a small dumbbell could give you some resistance, or without, you're going to act like you're taking a sword from your scabbard on the opposite arm, opposite hip, and you're going to raise it up like you're going to brandish it. And then put it away. Raise it up. Okay? So we'll do about 30 seconds per side here. Palm is going to face in, and then it rotates, and now the palm faces forward. Nice and straight arm for the most part on this one. Not like you're doing this, but one motion. Just a diagonal motion. And you're leaning back just barely. All right. Let's switch hands here. So lean back just slightly, and now the opposite arm. Again, you can use a little dumbbell if you want. Something light if you're gonna, use resistance. And it's the same sort of motion. Rotate in, rotate out along this diagonal pattern from your hip to your opposite shoulder. Good posture, breathing. A couple more seconds. Nice, great job there. All right, well done. Okay, so let's get rid of the chair, and you're gonna need some dumbbells again. Remember to grab a sip of water when you need to. All right, so we have bicep curls and heel raises. So standing up nice and tall, good posture. We're gonna start with the curl. I'm gonna do supination curls. So my palms are gonna be faced in, and then what I'll do is I'll rotate them forward and up as I bend the elbows, and then as I straighten, I'm gonna rotate them again so they're facing in. So up and down, fully straighten and fully bend the elbow, but controlled. Nice and slow and easy, controlled, up and down. All right, good posture. Working the bicep muscle, the upper arm. Nothing moving but the shoulders. No shoulders, no swinging arms, no swinging your hips. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll add heel raise to it. So what I'll do is I'll alternate. So I'm gonna a bicep curl, and then I'll go up on the heel of the toes as high as I can, and then back down, and then curl. Up as high as you can. So we're working the calf muscles also. Toes are going to point forward for the most part, about hip width apart for your feet. Nice and controlled, both directions. Looking good there. Couple more seconds. All right, take a break. Excellent. So about 30 seconds. So you can do this also, single if you want to alternate arms, as opposed to both at the same time. All right. What we can do is add a little pop to the toes. So as you go up and down, I'll show you from the side here. Bring those toes up in the air, and then the heels. And then kind of pick when you want to do the bicep curl. Doing the bicep curl when you're up on your toes is going to work the balance a little more too. So it just depends on where you do it. All right, so another minute in position. All right, so here's what I'll do. I'll go up and then down and pop the toes up. So a little bit more balance work because I'm up on the toes as I'm curling too. But again, remember, good posture, breathing, head stays neutral. Make sure not to hunch up the shoulders at all. And then how high you get up on those toes and the heels is up to you. And just watch that balance. If you lose that balance, take a step, no worries, restart. Firm grip, dry hands on these dumbbells. You don't want to dump them on your feet or your floors. About 7 seconds. Keep going. All right, nice job there. Okay, so we got we're gonna keep one dumbbell. I'm gonna switch up to a lighter dumbbell on this one. So just one dumbbell. And what we're gonna do is a torso rotation. Okay, so you could use your wall or something as kind of a target. You don't have to touch it, but just kind of think about a spot that you want to touch. So if I say, right around shoulder height for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start slightly bent in the knees. Is I'm going to rotate to the opposite side where I'm holding the dumbbell with both hands, and I'm going to hinge slightly forward too. So what I'll do, and I want to stand far enough away that what I'll do is I'll rotate and then push my hands out. Okay. And I don't want to hit my wall with the dumbbell, so I'll stand far enough away that I'm not touching it. I'll show you a different view. So what I'm doing is I'm just rotating and then pushing my arms out diagonal. Again, about shoulder height, head height. Rotating the whole body, pelvis and hips. You can see my feet are swiveling, kind of shifting weight from side to side. And then I'm just doing a diagonal push from below my hips up to above shoulder height. Getting some glutes, feeling that on the outside of the hips and the glutes right now. Upper body's doing a little bit of work, shoulders, arms. All right, take a break there. So again, good posture, you know, breathing the whole time as I'm doing this. Just kind of back and forth, rotating. Head is just going to stay with what the chest is doing. Okay, I'm not looking around or using my neck muscles. So what I'll do now is I'm going to switch. Go up this way. So when the timer starts, now I'll switch and do from the opposite side. Okay. All right, about 5 seconds. So now I'll start on my left side, both hands. And here we go. I'll show you this view here. So I'm just rotating hips, torso, pelvis, shoulders, everything's rotating at the same time here. A little bit of a bend or a hinge at the bottom part, and then extension throughout the whole torso and the hips as I get up to, you know, shoulder to head height here. Pivoting with my feet, so my weight is shifting back and forth on my left foot, now on my right foot. About 8 seconds. Keep breathing. I feel this, the low back and the hips mostly, the glutes. Nice job. All right, so getting rid of the dumbbell, we have another cardio up here. Again, you can get going right away. Or, you know, take a break, get a sip of water, clean up your space, make sure there's no dumbbells around to trip over, etc. All right. What don't we do? I'm going to start with the wide march here. Start back a little further. We got about 15 seconds to the official start, but again, I'm just going to get going now myself. And a narrow march. I'm going to move around a little bit, side to side or front to back. However much space you have, you know, is different with everybody. So, you know, how many steps I take as opposed to how many steps you take or not. It's all up to the space you have. All right. I'm going to go forward 4 steps and wide. Backwards 4 steps and narrow. Wide, narrow. Wide for 4 steps. 1, 3, 4. Forward and narrow. And back. And wide. And narrow. And wide. And forward 4. Backwards 4. And narrow. There you go. All right, switch to a ladder climb here. So marching, a little higher march than what we were just doing. And then we're getting some shoulder press involved. No resistance. So really, you know, making sure the speed is brisk and consistent. We're trying to get that heart rate up again, get the lungs pumping. Got about 1 minute and 8 seconds left. All right, let's do a little bit of hips. I'm going to hinge forward slightly. And now I'm going to push back with the hands and also the legs. Squeezing the rump on each cheek as I go back. I'm nice and wide with the feet. Legs are straight. And I'm just hinged forward a little bit. I don't want to arch my low back, So that's why I'm kind of leaning and hinging forward. All right, I'm gonna switch it up here. I'm gonna do more tricep extension and knee curls again. Keep moving. Again, nice and brisk. You know, that may be faster than I'm doing or slower, all depending on what's comfortable to you. If you've got music going, something a good, 130 beats per minute. That's about the speed we're looking for. All right, nice job. Well done there. Grab yourself a sip of water if you need be. Okay, so we've got some reverse lunges here. We've got about 35 seconds. Let me show you what we're doing. So if you need to, for balance wise, you could always hold on to a chair, okay? Keep it on the side or in front of you, whatever works. What I'll do is I'm gonna come back and then step forward, okay? So we're going backwards with this. Front leg is the one doing the work, holding you. Most of my weight's on that front leg. I'm hinging forward slightly. This knee is right above the shoelaces, okay? It's not going forward at all. It's going to stay above the shoelaces. How big of a step you take backwards is up to you. Heel is up on the back leg. Back leg bends also. But again, most of your weight's on this front leg. If you want to do a little more balance, don't hold on to anything. If you want to focus on the lunge, then maybe holding on to a wall or a chair or something. How low you go is up to you. The deeper you go in that lunge, harder to get back up, more resistance. You could also hold on to a dumbbell or a kettlebell with your opposite hand. Give you a little bit more work. Think about good posture. We've got about 5 seconds. Okay, nice job. Take a break there. So similar to the squats, we're getting thigh muscles, okay, quadriceps, we're getting glutes on the rear. Those are, again, kind of the prime movers. Actually, what I'll do is, I'll go back this way next. So next I'll switch knees here to the other side. Remember to not let things round out, but as you hinge, chest is going to kind of go over the knee, a little bit of weight over that foot, okay? All right, let's try it again. And stepping back. How deep you go is up to you. Listen to your body. If the joints are aching, giving you problems, make it a little more shallow. Doing some pretty shallow lunges myself right now. So again, how deep you go is up to you. But you're just going to lean forward, chest and weight over that foot. Let that back knee bend as far as you can comfortably. And I'm just using that more for stability. Most of my weight is on this front leg. And we got about 10 seconds. All right, nice job there. Okay, so we've got seated shoulder press. So you need your chair and a pair of dumbbells. All right, so taking a seat. So this one, you can sit with your back against the back of the chair, but I recommend just sitting on the front half of the chair so that the abdominals can do some work holding you up into good posture. Okay. I'm not going to lean back on this one at all. Just going to sit upright. But again, it takes a little bit of work for the torso and spinal muscles to hold you upright, especially with what we're going to do here. So shoulder press, rack those dumbbells right above your shoulders, and you can be more palms forward, elbows out, or more palms in, elbows, in. Just kind of depends on what's comfortable for you. I'm going to do about 45 degrees here. So what I'll do is I'm going to reach up as high as I can, Straighten those elbows, and then hands come right back down to just above shoulder. Good posture. Head just looking forward. Dumbbells can come together at the top or not. It's up to you. Here I'm getting kind of a mixture of front and middle deltoid, since my elbows are kind of in the middle, almost a 45-degree angle or so. All right, take a break there. So again, we're getting deltoids in the shoulders, we're getting triceps in the upper arms. This one especially, you know, good grip, dry hands. You don't want to dump these in, you know, dump these on your head, on your shoulders, floor, that sort of stuff. Okay, these can be done standing also, or seated. Seated, a little tougher in a way because you've got to really control the sway of your torso while you're seated. All right, I've got my legs nice and wide apart, give myself a decent base. Okay, let's try it again. So what I'll do is I'm going to bring the elbows in a little bit more, palms in more on this one, and then I may switch to out a little further too. So this is focusing on a little more front deltoid. And just raise above your head and in front of you slightly. Again, good posture. And now I'm going to open it a little wider. A little more of a military press here now. So my elbows are out wide to the sides, palms are facing forward. Getting more of that middle deltoid. Got about 12 seconds, keep it up. I'm feeling some good burn here in the shoulders. Keep breathing. And remember, how heavy the dumbbells are is up to you. That determines how tough it is. All right, whew, nice job. Glad to be done with that one personally here. All right, well done. So we've got a supine pelvic tilt with an L step. So getting rid of your chair, grabbing your mat if you have one. This one's laying on your back on the floor. So laying on your back in that hook lying position with your knees up and feet flat on the ground. Okay. Keep this mic out of the way for you. So hook lying position here, knees up, feet flat. We've got a pelvic tilt. So what I'm going to do is rotate the pelvis backwards so that my low back pushes against the ground. Okay. So, normally you have a natural curve in your lumbar spine, low back. What I'm going to do is just rotate it back, hold that for a couple seconds, and then relax. All in the hips and the abdominals. A pelvic tuck or tilt. Hold that position. Arms can be wherever. If you need more stability, having your arms down here. Less stability would be in or chest, or even, a little bit of work having your arms out like this. So all up to you. Make sure to maintain normal breathing. Don't hold your breath at all. And those tilts, hold them for 3 seconds or 5 or 10, 20 seconds, whatever works for you. Hips are on the ground. You're not lifting up. You're not using your legs. All right, take a break there. All right, so I'm going to add an L step in. So as I tilt, I'm going to reach forward with my leg, and then out, and back in, and then back. Okay? Think of the letter L. I can relax and tilt and hold. Step forward, out, in, and back. Just think of the pattern of the letter L, uppercase L. And I can keep doing it on one leg, or I'll switch back and forth. And how many times you do this before you take a break is up to you. But if you're losing that pelvic tilt, then a break might be needed. Or making a smaller L. If I do a tilt and just a tiny L, that may give me a little bit of work, as opposed to a large L. Okay, it's all up to you. how big that L is. But again, keeping that tilt and breathing, especially when you bring that leg away from your body, that tilt gets a little tougher to hold. Keep breathing. Okay, nice job there. All right, let's get up. I think we have a cardio next again. All right, we have our last cardio and then we'll cool down after this. So again, you can get going right away, or grabbing a sip of water, taking a break. Make sure you take your time getting up if you need to, and before you start moving around, make sure you don't have any lightheadedness or dizziness. Get your eyes looking good again if you were looking up into the lights on the ceiling. Making sure you're feeling good before you start going again. All right, so about 5 seconds, I'm going to start going here. Again, make sure your area is nice and clear and clean. Nothing to trip over. Let's go actually forward and back here. And some forward punches here. How fast he goes up to you. Again, remember, we're trying to get the heart rate up for this last spike. And then we'll actively cool down and balance after this cardio. Keep moving. Just kind of back and forth. All right, I'm gonna do a little side to side stuff here. Okay. Reach above and pull. Just a little toe tap and then pulling. Grab and pull above your head. There you go, looking good. About 1:20 left. Do whatever works for you, but try to be consistent for this whole time. All right, back to a march here. Nice and quick on this one. Excellent. Let's do some side steps again. We'll add some uppercuts. Punching up over your opposite shoulder here. Just a side step on this one. About 25 seconds. All right, back to a regular march here. And do some scissors. Okay, so palm up on this one. Internal, external rotation. Elbows are at the sides. And I'm just kind of switching. One hand on top, the other below. All right, nice job. Let's slow that march up. Slow everything up. Same motion, marching in scissors. Now we're going to slow it up for a couple seconds. We're actively in cool down right now, so we're the opposite. We want to get the heart rate back down, but we don't want to stop moving totally. All right, regular march. Just trying to get the heart rate back down. And a little side step. Great time, if you just want to walk around and grab your water bottle, that sort of stuff. Whatever cool down works for you. We just want to keep moving, but gently. Safely trying to get our heart rate 100 beats per minute or below, around that kind of number. And this may take longer for you to cool down or shorter. It's up to you. You can always pause that video and cool down longer if you need to. Let's do a little bit of balance work here while we do this. So I'm going to walk on my toes. Just kind of around the room or forward and backwards. So I'm still moving, but now I'm working the calves, working my balance a little bit. Okay. And now the heels. I'll walk on my heels here. So same sort of stuff, forward and backward, whatever works for you. Just trying to balance, keep your balance here. Still moving. Be aware of your surroundings. Awesome, okay. What I'm gonna do is step over a dog. So I have a dog, let's say, he's sleeping. Don't wanna wake him, so I'm stepping over. Nice and slow and controlled and quiet. How big that dog is up to you. So I could do a small dog, a little teeny Chihuahua, Pomeranian, okay? Or maybe I've got a large dog, you know, big golden retriever. Let's disregard the bell, let's keep going here. In fact, I'll turn that down for now. Okay, nice and big steps. Maybe you've got a large Great Dane, Irish Wolfhound, something large that you got to step over. Okay, so whatever size that dog is up to you. Remember, safe and controlled. So kind of moving on to the balance here, still cool down. What we'll do is we'll step over and then hold. Okay, step over and then hold. Oh, try to get that balance. Now the opposite direction. Step over and hold. Step over and hold, kind of a single leg balance. One more time. Over and hold. Step over and hold. Excellent. Let's do a little bit of tightrope walking. So think about if you have a tightrope that's as wide as your hips, pretty easy. Real easy to walk that tightrope, right? If I have a tightrope that's, say, as wide as my foot, it gets a little tougher, especially if I'm not looking at all. And if I go backwards, right? Okay. Now what you can do is how close that foot is determines how tough it is also. If I do this, not too bad, right? Okay, even backwards, not too bad for balance. If I do this, or heel to toe, getting a little tougher. Okay, so just play around with, number one, how wide your tightrope is, and number two, how big of a step you're taking. I'm just touching heel to toe, and then backwards too. I can do this in the hallway, you know, with my hand along the wall, whatever you need to do in order to get some balance work safely. Okay, let's do one more here. So what I'm going to do is walk as if I've got clown shoes on, or large flippers, scuba diving, snorkeling flippers on my feet. Okay, the bigger those flippers are, the bigger of a step I have to take. Okay, so it all depends on how big of those flippers you have on your feet pretending. Little flippers, pretty easy. Big flippers or clown shoes, you've really got to take some big steps and accentuate the movement of your ankles and foot. All right, well done. Nice job. Let's do a couple stretches and we'll be done here. So first one, back of the thigh. Nice and easy. So I'm putting my weight on my back leg, digging in the heel on my front leg. That leg is straight in front of me. Not out to the side at all, straight in front of me. Toe is pointed forward and up. I'm stretching out the back of my thigh, the hamstrings. Behind the knee, behind the back of the thigh. If I want a little more calf stretch, I bring those toes up towards my face. If I want less calf involved, then I just let those toes drop down. All right, let's switch legs here. So I'm just hinging forward slightly, kind of bending the knee and then also hinging forward, keeping that low back straight. If I want, I can reach toward, you know, my knee or my foot. A good 20, 30-second hold, that sort of stuff is what we're looking for. Gentle, no bouncing, no jerking. Nice and easy. Okay. Let's do another stretch here, something for the upper back. So if I stand here, like that pelvic tilt we did on the floor, if I rotate the pelvis, I straighten out that low back. I squeeze the cheeks together on my rump. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll interlace my fingers, push the hands away from my body as far as I can, stretch out. Kind of like what we did with that protraction when we did the little stretch with the rubber band, pushing out. All right. Head is just going to stay neutral. You may feel this in the neck a little bit, the back of the neck, but really rounding out the upper and middle back. If you want to get more forearm in, your forearm, your flexors on the tops of your forearms, really bend those wrists and straighten those elbows. And of course, keep breathing. Don't hold your breath ever. Don't hold it at all. All right. Let's try one more stretch here. So chest in front of shoulders, nice and wide, okay? And then I'm going to bring those elbows backwards. Backwards, chest out. Again, good posture. I can bring those hands together behind my ears or interlace them, whatever gives me a good stretch for the chest in front of the shoulders. I can let my hips go forward as I lean back slightly. Nice deep breathing. Now let's straighten those elbows, palms up and thumbs back, reaching out away from the body as far as you can, out to the sides and back with the thumbs. Now let's bend those wrists backwards and fingers backwards, stretching out the wrists. You feel that in your palms, in your bottom parts of your forearm. The flexors we're stretching out. Before we were doing the extensors. My fault on that. We got extensors stretching, and now the flexors and the forearms. All right, well done. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the workout. Got a decent workout. Thanks for being here.